get is being the universe itself. That's it. We don't get no more universal than that. So we're sticking to that platform of building up our people and raising them in their consciousness. Does that mean that, like I said once again, that we're not going to help anybody that come? Anybody, if their people are hungry, we will feed them. People are sick, we will heal them to our higher capacity. But our focus is our people. We need that focus. If we don't, we'll be universally extinct.
Yes, sir.
You feel what I'm making? And when they go look at people in the museum, they won't be looking at a universal person. They say the black man is now extinct. Look at those different tribes of Native Americans that are extinct today. You go and look at them and see them in the library. Look at the Tasmanian devil, the Tasmanian people. Extinct. They're not saying that's a universal person that's extinct. That's a Tasmanian that's extinct. So when we become extinct, we won't be universal anymore. We're only universal among the living. So that's something that we have to look at. Not a universal doctrine, but a black nation and a black uplifting doctrine. We need strength in those areas. We need power in those areas. And when we achieve that, then we can literally start saying, well, we can help somebody else. We want to go and say, no, we ain't going to clean up our house. We're going to go be mammies again and clean up the white man's house under universalism. You feel what I'm making?
This is crazy.
Once again, I'm not going to clean my house. I'm going to go universally go clean up the white man's house. Well, you already did that. I guess you was universal when you had a rope around your neck. You understand what I'm making? I guess you was universal when you was getting whipped to be among the Europeans. I guess that was universal, wasn't it? You want to go back to that universality? I don't. I want to make sure we have a strong and empowered nation so that we can eventually throw off those type of things of happening to us, or fight with all the power that we have in our body to prevent those things from occurring or happening. Now, I also want to talk about those particular people that don't want to come together, even with their own people, that make the European look so powerful. You look at the Arabs, and they've divided these Arabs. They're pushing their separation, saying that this one is an Iranian or this one is an Iraqi. They even have given the Arabs different titles. These are Muslims, and these are Sunnis, and these are Shiites. And he creates all these divisions and go in and kill all of them. When a European drops those bombs, he don't care whether they're Shiites or Muslims or Sunnis, but he tells them that to keep them divided. So the Arab is so greedy himself that they refuse to come together to help their own people. This Arab can unify and get the European off his back. They don't want to. They want to be Saudi Arabians, Iraqis, and Iranians. You see what I'm making? They want to watch while people that look just like them get their head blew off. And say, well, damn, them no Iraqis. This is where my border stopped at. You feel the point I'm making? So they're playing among the division of them to destroy them and wipe them off the planet. And say, well, this is not a war against Islam. Because if they go and say that it's a war against Islam, then now all of the Arabs are going to unify under Islam and get this European off of them. Do you see the point I'm making? But they say, no, we just against the Iraqis. Well, if you were just against the Saddam, well, just go blow Saddam ass up. Leave everybody else alone. If you was just out to get Saddam, then why didn't you just get Saddam and just leave everybody else alone? You got rid of Saddam and then you start blowing up innocent people and destroying them. That don't make no sense. While you saying you're trying to get Saddam, you saying we so dumb. Just sit back and believe that. But this Arab they have divided each other to not even come together to help themselves. And we do the same thing among our people. We can see it's a mirror reflection of how we divide ourselves among our people and just watch things happen and separate and say, oh, those are them. That's what's happening to them over there. That's what happened to those people. And we're not going to have a nation, no matter how beautiful it sounds, until we start being realistic and looking at things realistically, looking at history, looking at what can happen. It's not paranoia. It's reality. Sometimes when you start talking about real things with people, they start getting scared. Well, I don't want to hear about that. Well, do you want to experience it? Because if you hear about it, it's possible that you can act in a proactive manner to prevent certain things from happening. So you got to hear about certain things. so that you now can organize to prevent certain things from happening. But they say, oh, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that reality. We don't want to have to be forced to deal with what's really happening and what's really going on. So when it happens to them, they cry out victim. But they refuse the thorough knowledge and information to act in a conscious manner. But you can't act in a conscious manner if you reject knowledge. It's impossible. If you reject knowledge, how are you going to act? How are you going to know what to do? Knowledge prepares you to deal with certain circumstances that are in the forefront. So we have to study all black organizations, study what they went through, and study the potentials, threats of what could potentially happen to black organizations. Study that so that we know how to offshoot some of that stuff by studying it. I was saying this the other day. People say they don't want to be a part of a group or be a part of groups. You see the point I'm making? And be on an organized group. I'm on my own. I don't follow nobody. But you follow the white man. You just mean you're not going to follow anybody black. Just say that. Say that correct. Because when your boss at work tell you to do something, you do it. You follow his instruction with no problem. You go and you'll join their lodges and their secret society and you do exactly what he asks you to do. So when you say you're not going to follow anybody, just say you're not going to follow anybody black. That will be proper. Then you can give Real Willie Lynch the credit that he deserves. He can clap in his grave. You feel what I'm saying? That it's another black person that he got their mind. Because the point of that is that what I dropped on Supreme Tribe is that certain black people are of a supreme tribe. A tribe of awakened individuals. We're not here by no accident because Noble is standing up here talking and saying all this deep shit. That's not why we are organized. We're organized because we have a similar consciousness. We have a similar enlightenment. And that enlightenment separates us from the masses of the people. And that separation causes us to come together. You see the point I'm making? Like tectonic plates rubbing together to cause an earthquake. So that unique consciousness, that unique state of mind has brought us together. Not my message. I'm just a representative of us. Do you see the point I'm making? I'm not saying nothing so spectacular. I'm confirming what you already know to be true on many different levels. So as a supreme tribe, we are being attracted together to do something. Now some people say, I don't want to be a part of no group. Well, you already are. You're part of a group that thinks a certain and feels a certain way. And you'll find yourself among that group. Do you see what I'm making? And what happens is circumstances will push you further among those groups. I was telling somebody this earlier. I said, you said that you're going to you want to homeschool your children. You want to eat a certain way. You want to live a certain way. You have a certain cultural dynamic that you yourself have decided to. But in your unique position, you are being challenged every day by people outside of that cultural framework. And they're asking you, well, what is your religion? What do you believe in? You're getting challenged. And these challenges cause people to join organizations. Not because, they agree with the organizations all the time. Because they have a unique way of thinking. And they seek refuge inside of the organizations. Do you follow what I'm making? Because the organizations have unique methodologies of dealing with those challenges. And they handle those challenges as a group. You see the point I'm making? So that's why people end up in organizations that say, I would never end up with being an organization. Then 6 or 7 months, you find them at the Buddhist temple or the Krishna temple. Or you find them with one of these black organizations. But they say, well, I would never follow nobody. Well, it's not about following anybody. It's about what your unique consciousness is and who you will find yourself among with that consciousness. And how circumstances will make you unite with people with similar values and interests to protect those values and interests. Y'all hear the point that I'm making? Now, some people can consciously get with those groups. Some people can consciously line up with individuals because they say, well, I know you feel this way. I know you feel that way. Well, let's get together and secure those thoughts and interests. Some people can do that naturally. And some people can say, well, they just find themselves over there with them. They say, why do I keep ending up with y'all crazy people? Well, because you crazy too. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm talking about. They just keep finding themselves because they don't want to own their unique position. But society has pointed them out. I always mention the movie X-Men. Because you're a mutant. People don't realize that. The conscious people are like the mutant people in society. They're outcast because they have not been shaped by the box. The matrix, they slip through the matrix. They slip through the cracks with all these questions. Y'all don't hear me? With all this enlightened thoughts and this information, which is enlightened power, which is superpower. Because if you have the potential for infinite knowledge because of your questions, because of your positions, then you have the potential for unlimited power. So to some degree, you are a superhero. Y'all don't hear the point that I'm making. So the mutants that they was talking about in X-Men that were X'd out, like Malcolm X, it was the reason they were the X-Men. They were casted out, X'd out. You see the point I'm making? And some of them unknown to themselves. Y'all don't hear me. That's why they were the X-Men. So I'm saying some of us are those X people. We have superhuman power. We are the mutants. We mutated through the cracks and crevices of society. We couldn't get bamboozled. And now we're walking around with these superhuman thinking abilities. Well, we're thinking outside of all the Europeans' boxes. So now I'm just standing up here like Professor Xavier. You know, trying to help. Go back and watch that movie. I'm just trying to help these mutants realize their power. So we can stop the evil mutants from taking over the world. Because that's what the Illuminati are. They're mutants too. They've thought outside the boxes. They're above the masses. Right? But they're using their knowledge for what? Evil. They're using their mutant state of higher intelligence to oppress the people. We're just the good mutants. You feel what I'm making? We want to use our intelligence to save people, to save humanity, to come up with solutions to solve problems. That's what we are. So some people don't want to accept that they were the X-Men. They say, well, you know, I'm not no X-Men. I'm going to be a mutant and just walk out in society. And when society shows them how much a mutant they are, they find themselves among them crazy people again and don't know why. You feel what I'm making? But I'm not a part of this. I'm just here listening to what y'all have to say. I have nothing to do with this. I'm really not a part of this. You guys are not my group. You feel what I'm making? But society itself will show you who you are sometimes more than you are willing to accept. So we find people back in these circles who come out and end up coming back, end up leaving and coming back because they are of that supreme tribe. And the circumstances in society will make people wise enough to gravitate towards people who can help them. You see the point I'm making? Who can kind of help them develop as the mutants. Who can help protect them from the ignorance of society about their mutant state. You should have realized you was a mutant when you started questioning your pastor. Nobody questions the pastor. Only a mutant would do that. Someone who's slipped outside of the box who couldn't be bamboozled. Now you asking them, oh, okay, if Jesus did this, and if God created all this, why did he create that? They already see you. Oh, he's a mutant. Feel what I'm making? Mm-hmm. You think you're a regular human being asking questions. But they already see you for who you are. You understand what I'm making? And they already prepared to deal with you. They got mutant defense strategies that we ain't even aware of. They have special ways of dealing with you. You mutants. Literally. You think that, okay, they got prisons for mutants. They call them political prisoners. You feel what I'm making? They got special places for mutants, special drugs for mutants. You feel what I'm making? I know this sounds real. It sounds real like, you know, fantasy, but it's some science here if y'all see it. They got medication for mutants. You didn't mutate it and you walking around not reflecting the thoughts of average human beings. They got a mutant medication. You feel what I'm making? So you got to get among other mutants and learn how to master mutant culture.
Yes, sir.
Mutant life. You feel what I'm making? Y'all laughing at me.
No.
But it's deep. You have to. And you're not going to get among these mutants because Professor Xavier is all this great person. Hell, he's in a wheelchair. You be getting among this mutant because you have to learn mutant culture. You have to become a prepared mutant and know who you are. A lot of the mutants in the class didn't want to accept who they were.